Today we're diving into the top ranking factors for Google My Business so that you can rank in more searches and by extension generate more customer calls and more messages. Somebody types in real estate agents nearby or something to that effect, and then Google shows you the local pack of this one, view all. How do you rank in that top list of those top 2 or 3 before the view all option? And it really boils down to your local SEO. Now, from an overall SEO standpoint, Google My Business has really become that main contender, that main contributing factor or signal that Google looks at whenever it thinks it's dealing with a local search, because local SEO is its own subject. So again, when somebody types a search into Google and Google's like, oh, this is a local search, it's going to start looking at your Google My Business and how optimized that is in terms of whether or not you rank in the local pack and elsewhere. Now, you may be thinking like, why do I care about any of this? It's just another profile. You care about it because of this thing called Google search. So for example, I want you to go to the back end of your Google My Business, simply navigate to business.google.com. I am currently logged into the back end of Sean Ryan's page, his profile. Sean Ryan is a stellar rockstar agent and team lead in Sarnia, Lambton, Ontario. Now, once you're in the back end of your Google My Business portal, whatever you want to call it, click on the Insights button to go see some analytics. And if you look here, it says how customers search for your business. In the past 30 days, the past month, Sean Ryan's Google My Business has showed up in the Google results, whether Maps or Google Search, whether desktop or mobile, a total of 17,127 times. That ain't no joke. Now, if you break it apart, there's 3 different ways in which it is showing itself. First way is direct. This is the green. People who find your business profile searching for your business name or address. Now, that's typical of what most people will probably see in the back end of their Google My Business, that people are typically searching for their business directly. That's not the case with Sean. It's not a small number. It's 1,116, 6.5% of the time. It's not a small number. But look at the blue one, Discovery. 15,504 searches in the past month. Discovery is people who find your business profile searching for a category, product, or service. What? That means they're not searching for him directly. They're searching for basically a real estate agent in his market area, and his location authority, his local SEO is so dialed in that Google has shown it 15,504 times. This is what we're going to break down today, how to do that. The last category is branded. Customers who find your listing searching for brands related to your business. Now, normally that number is either non-present or hardly a number at all. He has 507 results on that. Why? Because his local SEO is so strong across the board. Whenever people are looking at competitors' pages, Google's like, are you sure you don't want to see Sean's? Are you sure you don't want to see it? That's the benefit of this, is showing up in search results. How to get you in the local pack. How to build up your local organic SEO so that your Google My Business connects customers to your phone number, to your website, to message you and build your business. That's what we're going to be talking about today. What are the signals? What are the ranking signals that Google looks for or looks at in terms of which Google My Business profiles will it rank in that local pack? And today I want to go through what I think are the top 5. The reason they're my top 5 is because they really put the ball in your court. They put your hand on the dial where you have the most leverage to turn that dial and crank up your local SEO. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Number 1 is your primary business category. That's the number 1 thing that Google's gonna look at when somebody searches for like a real estate agent nearby, is the primary business category. So if you go into the info section of your Google My Business on the back end, business.google.com, right here, it's got real estate agents. You would simply click the pencil, and what is the one you wanna rank on? Now, it's different from the US to Canada, whether it's real estate agency or real estate agent or real estate agents. What is the number 1 primary category that you want to rank on associated with your industry? That's the first thing Google looks at, is your primary category in terms of deciding which Google My Business profiles to rank. The second strongest ranking factor or signal that Google analyzes in terms of whether to show your Google My Business or competitors in that local pack is quite controversial. It's the presence of keywords in the title of your Google My Business profile. You're like, why is that controversial? Well, it's controversial because Google says one thing and does another. What do they say? Well, if you go look at their bylaws, the Google My Business Help Center, it says, as it tells you how to name your profile, there's a whole bunch of documentation here that you should read. It says, including unnecessary information in your business name is not prohibited and could result in your business profile being suspended. Now, there are 2 different types of suspensions. There's a soft suspension and a hard suspension. The basic difference is a soft one is set it back the right way and we'll give you back your control. A hard suspension is you're out. You're done. So there is definitely an element of don't include keywords that are not part of your name. It says your name should reflect your business business real world name as used consistently on your storefront, your website stationery, and as known to customers. Now, for example, there are some like law firms that say personal injury attorney is part of their logo and then it's their name so that they can use those keywords in their profile and it's acceptable because they have a strong local search-based business. Now, going back to real estate, for instance, if my name is Jason Pantana of ABC Realty, that's what it is, right? But my name is not necessarily on my business card, Real Estate Agent Nashville, Jason Pantana, ABC Realty. So you have to be realizing like, okay, there are keywords that may be indicative of what somebody might search on Google that aren't part of my name, and I get myself in this little limbo because we know, like the data reveals and shows ironclad that keywords in the profile title make a difference. So it's like Google saying, don't put keywords in your profile. That's what they're saying over here in the Help Center. But then on the other hand, they're like, the algorithm's like, where are the keywords? I need the keywords so I know what I can rank in the search results. And so here we are kind of at a crossroads of making a decision. There was a study that Moz did recently where they looked at certain businesses that had violated this and they were spammy keyword stuffers. I mean like spammy keyword stuffers. And what they reported in their study was that 40% of the time, Google took action against them with either a soft or a hard suspension, which means 60% of the time they didn't. I'm not giving you permission to do this. I'm just kind of reporting to you that there seems to be a little bit of a disconnect here. For example, if I go back to Sean Ryan's page and I'm looking at his insights, again, of his 17,000 plus searches in the past month, we know that 15,000 and a half were the result of discovery, meaning people were searching for his category, his service, his industry, not by his name directly, and he's ranking. That's valuable, right? That means phone calls and messages and traffic to his website. It's valuable. Look at his title. Sarnia Real Estate Agent, Sean Ryan and Hillary Ryan, EXP Canada, Inc. There's no doubt that this is having an impact on his search. For example, if you click the button here, which I can't do because I lack the permission to do it, see new profile performance. This button is reserved only for the primary owner of a Google My Business, which is you for your own page. I've looked at it before with Sean. It tells you what are the verbatim search queries people are typing into Google that rank and how often do they rank your profile. And if you look at it, number one on top of that list is Sarnia Real Estate Agent, and it's in the keywords. So here is your predicament. You could consider saying, I'm going to modify my title at the risk of a suspension. Like, don't come to me if it happens. I'm simply reporting to you, look, the algorithm is looking for the keywords and Google My Business is saying, don't put them there. So be careful. That's number 2 with the signals. Can't be of more help than that on video. All right, number 3 on my list, and it is additional business categories. Now, remember, we have our primary business category. That was the very first factor of all, like real estate agency, real estate agents, whatever you want it to be. However, it also looks at additional categories. My advice is, and like if you look here, you got real estate agents, real estate consultant, very practical. My advice is don't go too crazy. I've seen people, there's a couple of mistakes I've seen, and this is qualitative advice I'm about to give you. When users of Google My Business come in and they make like 50 changes all at once, it tends to call the eye of Sauron. It's like Frodo putting on the ring of power and all of a sudden that eye is staring at you, and that's Google looking at you saying like,
why are you trying to trick me? Why are you putting in so many changes?
I'm gonna soft suspend, hard suspend. I think you're opening yourself up for that level of scrutiny when you make too many changes at once. The other thing I would say is don't add like 50 subcategories. That's going to make Google probably angry, and it's going to dilute the efficacy and the integrity of their data in Google My Business. It's going to open you up to being considered a spammer. So I would say 2 or 3 additional categories is about what it takes. And make sure they're kind of on par with the actual work you do. Don't confuse the system where it's like, I'm a golf instructor and a real estate agent. Don't do that. Stay on topic for your business category. The subcategories should support and reinforce the primary business category. And they are a factor, they are a signal that Google looks at from a local SEO standpoint in terms of whether or not it ranks your profile. And number 4 on my list is the presence of keywords in your reviews. So when customers go to review you on Google, do they say things like your full name or the full name of your business? Do they say things like real estate agent or realtor? Do they say things like your city and state and where you conduct business? Do they say things like buying a home, selling a home? Think like a search engine. So for example, if you go back to your insights on the back end, business.google.com of your Google My Business, and there was that button that I said only the primary owner could actually tap and see, it will show you verbatim what are the search queries on which your profile ranks and how often. Is it fewer than 15 times? Is it 100 times? How often often, make a list of the terms, the phrases that is, the keywords that you want to rank on. Now, what I'm about to say to you, please take with a grain of salt, and I'm going to tread lightly, because what Google does not want is for you basically gaming the system for reviews. If they think reviews are disingenuous, or if they think that the reviews were basically forced by the owner on some level, they just won't publish them, and it could result in your account getting into trouble. Again, suspensions and things like that. We don't want to create trouble. At the same time, we know that from an algorithmic standpoint, from an SEO standpoint, we know that the presence of these keywords makes a difference. Does it say your full name, your geographic area, your job categories? What are the search phrases that you want to rank on as listed in the performance profile section in the back end of your Google My Business? And here's the grain of salt part. If you can talk to your best clients, the ones who know you, like you, trust you, and they're going to leave you a review, don't force this, but if you can say to them, hey, it would be awesome if you can say things like buying a home, selling a home, name the city where you're moving to or moving from. Say things like that so that it helps rank me better on Google. Say real estate agent, realtor, those types of things. If there can be some very light coaching where they can drop some of those keywords in, it can help to bolster up your profile from a local SEO standpoint. But again, I'm saying this to you and I'm asking you to use discretion on how you do this, because you don't want to game their system at all. And tip number 5, based upon the strongest signals that impact your local SEO ranking factors for Google My Business, is the completeness of your Google My Business profile. So in other words, log into the back end of Google My Business, business.google.com, click on the info, and make sure you have your business name, you have your categories, you have your address, your service areas, your hours of operations, you have your phone number, you have your website, you have appointment links, products, all the works. Add a description, right? Now we know that keywords in the description does not have an impact, but the presence of that description being there does optimize your profile so that it ranks better. The completedness of your profile is a factor, and I would go double down on that and say it's not just the completedness, but it's the ongoing productive activity of that profile. So in other words, adding photos, adding videos, adding Google posts, adding products, being a user of the platform is going to reinforce your SEO. So this is the gift that keeps on giving, because you got to keep on working your profile, because it is one of the strong signals that Google looks for in terms of whether or not it ranks your profile. All right, there you have it. 5 of the top ranking factors or signals that Google looks at when determining whether it should or shouldn't rank your Google My Business profile in the local pack search results. Ranking in the search results is half the battle. Creating a page, a profile that people fall in love with, that converts them into a real, viable, paying, wants to work with you type of customer, that's the real triumph. If this video training resonated with you, please leave a comment, ask a question, tag a friend. Let me know how I can help you with future video options. I want to get this content as far and wide to as many other real estate agents and business professionals as humanly possible to help you really level up your business and generate more customers and have ultimate success in your business. Thanks for tuning in.